In the danger zone. In the danger zone.
So welcome back.
I don't know how you can keep a straight face, Josh.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult.
I'm hilarious.
Did I ever tell you how funny he is?
No idea. Well, here we go.
I changed it that time.
Here we go. We're going to talk about pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone.
In the comfort zone.
Stop it. That was weird.
So much pressure.
Yeah.
So much pressure to perform.
So in the last little chunk, we were talking about how... I don't even remember. But we
We're confident.
we were talking
about
ish.
That's right. And we were talking about how sometimes when you're trying to be confident, you have to like get out of your comfort zone to get the best work. Because if you're not sort of like pushing the envelope of what you're sort of like comfortable with, then it's not really yours.
Yeah.
In a way. You're not like discovering new stuff. And this reminds me of a website that a friend of mine made where he, as his business slogan, said, we are trying to make ourselves comfortable with being uncomfortable. And at the time I thought it was like seriously, hilariously, like just like, what?
Well, if you're comfortable,
Yeah.
is it therefore uncomfortable? So then
That's right. If
you're simply being comfortable, and then
being
you're still in the comfort
uncomfortable,
zone. So therefore,
the new status quo. Yeah.
I don't think it works.
the comfort zone.
So,
No, that's my gag.
I'm sorry. I'm not the
So-
singing person.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Brandon.
so let's talk about
Which is my gag.
children.
That was a good.
Let's
gag.
talk about
Puns is his gag.
yeah. So, comfort zone. What do you guys think? Is it true? Do you have to like push yourself out of a comfort zone to like find?
I think comfort zone is a limiting word.
Okay.
I think what may be more helpful or useful is to add more other words like what's familiar. For example, early visual effects when I was doing things, we did a shot where we had a guy running through a field and a house blows up in the background, and it was handheld, so the camera guy's running through this wheat field and then the actor's running. And at that point I was brand new to visual effects. This is like the second thing I'd ever done, and
This is like 8th grade.
yeah, this was very young. I was a little older than that.
Okay.
Ninth
grade.
grade.
Josh King.
Actually, this is the
Yeah.
summer after my 9th grade year. Actually, this is
Yeah.
right before I met you.
Yeah.
So is that 9th grade or 10th grade?
9th and a
Question
half.
that no one's ever
9
been
and
able to answer.
3/4
Yeah, it was July,
reference.
so it might be smack in the middle. Anywho, and long story short, I had no clue how we were gonna do it when we shot it, because at that point I didn't know what motion tracking was, and frankly, software back then wasn't very good at
Yeah.
motion tracking, even though I didn't know about it. And so we did this shot, and I'm like, well, if we shoot it and it's moving and I put the explosion on top, like, the background's going to keep moving and it's not going to work. Because I knew that just by
Yeah.
looking at it. I could, like, compartmentalize the layering. But as we were shooting, I'm like, well, it works to not have it on the tripod. It works for the effect we want. But I don't know how we're going to composite that.
Right, sure.
And we did it anyway. And that was a little bit irresponsible because it was like, it could have not worked.
Yeah.
But I ended up figuring out some ways, and I learned some skills that I've since, I now know what motion tracking is, and 15 years ago I didn't.
But it does seem like anyone who's going to break barriers does have to say, we don't know how this is going to turn out, but therefore we will go anyway.
Yeah. Even if somebody else knows, like, somebody else who knew what they were doing, Hollywood had been doing motion tracking for years before that.
Yeah, so
But
somebody
Justin
figured it
didn't.
out.
Yeah, somebody else had
Yeah.
figured it out, but I didn't know how. So
Yeah.
it was a revelation for me to figure that
And
out.
I think in these kind of cases, it's less of trying to be avant-garde and being all cool and trendy, and you're just doing what you want to do. It's the confidently okay. Actually, no, avant-garde is the thing you want to be if you're a hipster, because you want to be ahead of the trend. I don't know. Anyways, I just like what I like. This is what we're talking about. Just like what you like,
That's
and
right.
then
We're
go
talking
do
about
it,
comfort.
even if you have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Don't be
That's true.
afraid of having to figure out how to do something.
And there's this cool James Cameron quote, speaking of people who break boundaries. And he says that failure is possible, but fear is not. when you're like pushing the envelope. And I think that's kind of a thing where you can go into something and you can be totally clear about the fact that you might fall on your face and you might fail. But you still go.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's worth discovering new vistas, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Just make sure you don't pay a lot of money for it.
I was just going to say, like the operating system, because that one didn't work out very well.
Yeah, exactly.
They were trying to do something new. It just didn't work.
Yeah, there is kind of this interesting thing of...
Same with Windows 8. Sorry, continue.
Go on.
Thank you. Thank you for...
Did I ever tell you how funny he is?
Crazy. So, I found that there's like this common experience that happens when Justin's looking at the camera and ignoring everybody.
I'm paying attention. Go on.
Okay. So, when I do like projects that are worthwhile, then the night before the first day, I won't sleep at all. Because I'll just be like up thinking about it and stuff, and it's kind of like...
I remember doing that before
anxious
school days as a
process.
kid. I think the night before second grade, I didn't sleep.
I do that like every Sunday night, just thinking of the week that it's ahead of me. I'm just like,
dang it.
I'm not nervous, but I just can't sleep.
Well, thanks for taking my great experience.
Sorry,
Yeah,
no.
sorry,
like,
just
you
commonizing
were
it.
going somewhere with that, though.
Just commonize the word.
going to be special, guys.
We're kind of jerks.
Continue.
Yeah. So, the idea of being able to recognize when you're like doing something right by the sort of feeling of like discomfort.
Of dread.
Yeah, kind of like, I don't know. Because it's like if you feel comfortable doing it, if you can like be like, yep, done this 100 times before, and this I have no fear about if this is going to work out or not. Then it's kind of like it's become too familiar, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's become too commonplace that it's not challenging you.
Stagnant, stale,
Yeah.
Exactly.
sterile, boring.
Well, I don't think you have to be afraid of doing... If you just are going to, like... If what you want is just to just unload, like, for example, a song that you just... And you know how to do everything. Even if it doesn't challenge you, just put out that song anyways. It's like...
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
That's
Just
true.
don't be afraid of being challenged.
Yeah.
Don't be held back by that.
Yeah.
Don't not do something because it's challenging.
Or just because you don't quite yet know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Ray Bradbury quote. He says, "You should jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down." And
Just don't forget to take cardboard and glue with you.
fast drying glue.
Done that before.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of I always thought it was a funny quote because either way, you're gonna hit the ground if you jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
So at that point, it kind of goes back to our conversation we were having about like fear can be a catalyst. Like if you just say, okay, this is gonna be a challenge, but we're gonna jump off, we're gonna try and do it.
Yeah.
Like either way, there will be a result,
Yeah.
right? Either
Something will happen.
Yeah, either you're gonna let go and you're gonna figure something out and you're gonna build your wings and fly away, or you're gonna hit the ground and go, yep, that hurt. Learn the experience.
Yeah.
Creative resilience.
Yeah.
And also creative
I'm coining that
experimentation.
phrase.
Like, because the best way to do it, I think, would be to have this, like, playtime that you're doing just stuff. And then when you're going to work on a big paid project or something that someone's expecting results from, then you still just do whatever you want to do. But at that point, you've got all of these ideas that you can be like, okay, well, I can throw this in there and this in there and this in there. And then you're working on less scary stuff because you
That's
may only
true.
have one problem that you're going to like, okay, I don't know how to do this yet, but we're going to get this. So
And that reminds me of an interesting idea of research and development, right? Which I think is like
Yeah.
the thing
R&D.
of R&D.
not to be confused with D&D.
Or R&B.
Or R&B
B&B.
while doing. Yes, exactly. It's great.
Baskin Robbins? Everyone flavors.
Derailed! Derailed!
That was more of a plane and not a train.
It was a plane.
A plane with rails.
It was a plane going off of, or a train going off of a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways.
continue.
So, like, when companies want to try something new, they say, well, we're going to have to R&D that. Which basically means it's out of our comfort zone. Which means we're going to have to figure out a way to do this because we don't know if it's going to work. Right?
But they still do it.
Yeah, and they've developed like a process,
Probably.
like a coping mechanism to sort of deal with.
And they've given it a business term.
Exactly. Which is
Because everything needs a business term.
Yeah, exactly. When you
HR.
Yeah. That stands for
Horrible reptiles. I don't know.
harsh.
Go on.
Harsh.
Research and development.
Yeah. And so if you're like trying to go out and like push yourself out of a situation in which you're familiar, then you can sort of develop your own R&D process of being like, this is how I'm going to handle all these unknown variables. You know, I'm going to talk to people who've been there, maybe. I'm going to like make lists of what scare me the most and then address those first. You know, attack the problem over the hill, basically.
Yeah.
So that it's less scary, and I'm learning more about it immediately.
That gives you one more tool to stick in your Batman utility belt to like...
Which we all have.
Well, I think sometimes R&D kind of stuff, like doing it in that way, is more for the experienced artist, or you know, like for someone just getting into it. I would say just limit it to kind of like just think of it as play. Just go and just do stuff for fun. Because otherwise you get daunted by the fact that it's so strict and blah, 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 blah.
That's true.
That's a good point, because a more experienced artist is somebody who's more familiar with their craft. They're going to recognize buzzwords. They're going to know what to search for in the encyclopedia or the newer version, something about Google.
What's that?
Wikipedia?
I don't know. I loved encyclopedias. Did you guys ever play with those?
I remember having a set when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and,
I would go
but I
through
didn't
the
really look
space
through them
section.
much.
Like I wore out the S one, like the space, like all the rockets. It had like
Nice.
diagrams. I'm like, this is the coolest ever. And then when the internet came out, I was like, sweet.
I just went and found sci-fi illustration books. I didn't care about the
Real things.
Yeah, I was like, but they're so badly designed. So that's what a spaceship should look like.
That's true.
You know?
I couldn't afford those. I just had the encyclopedia in my grandparents' house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 10 There's like 20 volumes.
Yeah.
One for each letter.
Encyclopedias are kind of out of people's comfort zone.
You have to open them. You hurt yourself on them short pages.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I totally derailed what we were talking about.
I don't even remember what we're talking about now.
Well, audience, that's what you get. Sensible ramblings. We've been rambling for a while, so we'll let you sort of get back to your lives. Peace.
Go do something important with yourselves.
Yeah. If you've been watching 3 episodes of Ours in a Row,
You must be us.
Don't go looking at other
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
I
Just
think we're the
go
only
now.
viewers.
Just go do something creative.
yeah,
Did you
challenge
do the
yourself.
glasses on the nose thing, Joe?
I did.
What's wrong with the
This
glasses
is
on the nose thing?
I am an old person scolding you.
Internet, which is probably full of people that are older than us and wiser than us.
And
I don't know why
10,000
they do
years
it.
from now, I really hope the internet's not still around. Hope they've invented something better.
Nope. It's all just gonna be the internet.
Credits.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the
Let's
end.
cut
of
this
that.
thing and
Cut it, package it, print it, send it to those.
You don't have to
I'll
say
look at it
print. We're
tomorrow.
not using film.
yeah, you weirdo.
No, we definitely have to, because it's my favorite word. Print implies finality, text, ink, books.
Water puddle on the head. I knew that was good. I could see it in your glasses.
So we'll probably have to re-record like all of those, but you know.